trying to chastise the sinister CA, asking this. Why do you talk to God? A million people try to keep themselves calm. The phenomenon of the divine comedy. It's definitely not luck that the priests of angels can enjoy. I believe that there's something in there that the fairies might like. He tried to put the tea on the table. If that was so, I stand up and answer the Lord. But in my heart, I'm laughing. Kuang Yang and Kuang Yang, you're going to write for letters. On her face too. You only have this little trick. Watch out for CA. I looked at the scared face of millions. Not out of interest. Think again. You must feel the distance is too great for me. So take the initiative to reveal your charm. But that perseverance must have set you up a lot. Kuang Yang is currently in training. Are also thinking. Conditions to get the most out of the other. It's also a difficult thing to do for a high priest. The news is extremely important. Even if it is fake. Surely you will go too. Both CA and Kuang Duong did not date. We have common, a thought for the enemy. Until then, don't make me seven. Later, she ran outside to prevent love. Love is not disrespectful. Love screaming at the old school CA. You don't need to love anymore. Why would I want to throw you here? Try to sit down. Rubbing her head, she said, if you love so much, why do you throw it away? It's just that this trip is dangerous. So it's safer for you to stay here. Love's eyes were in tears trying to convince. But not the master. Say in the body of love there is mystical power SAO. So love can protect the master that loves certain. School CA seriously yelled indiscriminately. Don't confuse these two. Love is not listening to the master anymore. She was silent when she saw the CA school angry. Sweetie lowered her head, sadly. Where the adventurous monk must also go is related to Kuang Duong CA SAO. Understanding of her story. All three of you have to fall in. She breathed out a voice of helplessness. CA school tries to massage her head to reassure her. According to the judge. CA body occupier, CA, you're not going to hurt yourself so much. I walk through love before I say a few words. If you can't return from this trip. She couldn't hide the shock on her face. The school laughed and continued. Look what I'm saying. No need to worry, I promise I will come back. End your words and hurry away. Leaving love behind sobbing well. The grandmother comforted the little girl. Your master doesn't want you in danger. Kuang Yang over here, I just saw the school leaving. He laughed excitedly. Still can't resist the fascination SAO. In the end, you're no better than me. He winked his eyes and laughed cunningly. The trap in dancing heaven. I left it to protect the world. Even a great saint can hardly escape death. The market behind me was sweating. She anxiously thought, why do we always have bad feelings? I hope there's no trouble. Otherwise, the Holy Land will. Trying to chastise CA here is soaring in the sky. Your eyes have turned purple. The deceit is evident on the face. At the same time, Mung Ming is not walking outside a manor house. So far, there's been no response. She put her hand on her chin thinking, see, this guy is not stupid either. I can't believe you weren't fooled and replied to me. How many of our traps are broken? Or we can send another letter. If it was a CA school, this wouldn't have happened. She squeezed her lips, continued to deduce. There's also the mysterious fairy Kier. I heard that it is also in Kunlun Holy Land. Maybe he's the one that the electrical ancestors arranged. If so, this is awkward. Zoe didn't decide to wait any longer. If Kwang Yang is still not trapped, then we go to the Holy Land. She turned about to go inside. If it was CA, he wouldn't do that. A translucent space vortex appears nearby. Try to hide here. Have you heard all the words of Zoe? I think. That stupid woman Zhang Yang is not easy to kill. He laughed softly, eyes closed to ponder. Tiger down to the world looking for people. It's a plan. You don't either. I should still let my husband help you. And the thought, old school CA, disappeared into the vortex of space. You go inside the locked space to the facility. Department of Seeing the CA. Take 2 hands in front of your chest immediately. You scream in a panic. CA school in SAO is here again. CA2 school teacher grinned behind her back. What are you kidding? This is the world we want to come to. I have to tell you. He walked toward the office where he was sitting, grabbed her pregnant face and joked. You're now mine. Pay attention to the awkward behavior. My face is red and screaming. Your first ghost, I tell you. I can't finish the sentence yet, was thrown aside by the CA school. In amazement, I just coldly said a word. Jiang Bei stands firm. Go back to your old school immediately. You raise your hand. A table gradually appears for good. If I'm in a good mood, I'll let you out. Stunned at hearing this, let me out. I thought to myself, if only I could get out. Even in the next life, we have a chance. Keep your hands on the chair. I'm tired of saying I'm a little thirsty. The mayor's lips said nothing. She holds it in her warm hand and makes tea to try to satisfy CA. You are so lucky to be able to drink tea. Department of Female Saints. The office near the voice replied. Do not disobey your word. You're quick, of course. Jiang Department pour tea, Ralai. CA punches, can't help but poke. Just this trick of yours. Sorry for the 5 elixir spirits. It's been 80,000 years. The boss put the teapot down on the table. Loud voice. You can go to school if you want to insult me. Then you'll do as you wish. He held a cup of hot tea in his hand. I'm not that free. I'm afraid you're the only one here with no one to talk to. Should feel lonely. The police department circled 2 cold hands in one answer. You're not fake. A ghost like you is so cold. There is no humanity in the heart. CA finally squinted and asked, Humanity, what have I done to make you see that I am dehumanized? Don't sit there and die. Or wait for someone else to come clean. This life is called human. Based on where? She dodged your eyes. But this is no reason for you to kill people. This directly infuriated the school. He placed the cup of tea firmly on the table and asked the opposite in a loud voice. Slaughtering others. I screamed in anger. What eye of yours sees me slaughter others? I have no reason to disrupt or destroy the nation. If you say on the spiritual path, meet the charm. It's about giving in, not fighting. It is called the first. I'll hang myself by the rope. They will be killed anyway. Your eyes light up tired. I lowered the seed and kept talking. Do you know how many people are watching my life? My position is not, and finally forever. They finally lost 7. Then have to die. What you see is when I'm alive. The police officer opened his eyes in amazement. You can't believe it. What the late CA school said. You're walking through the office in a sad way. It's quiet. Everything we do is just for living. Not to live. It's also wrong. This statement from the CA school made the campus silent. I've walked away. Tell you these things. You probably don't understand either. The police officer turned to ask incredulously. Why do you still say? He replied calmly because he was in a good mood. The police officer summoned up the courage to say out his request. Mood is good. Then you let me go. You also speculate in your heart. Maybe he's found his ancestor. The school is standing still. It is not impossible to release you. Just now. But I think it'll be quick. The old school is leaving. That screams the school CA. Don't look for ancestors anymore. You despise the tricks of your ancestors. There's a lot behind him. All your advantages will be destroyed. The bewilderment on her face trying to advise. You don't want to live. Then hide away from our ancestors for a bit. Try to tilt your head towards the teeth. Dancing mouth, laughing, cunning eyes. What are you thinking about? I am happy, but the fugitive is not me. Above the top of the earth, there are 2 holes in the middle. The night sky. The old school CA with Jiang appear. When you see the scene in front of you, you are surprised. This is me excited to introduce Xiao. This is the position that we're going to set up now. The world is in our hands. He glanced at the groping behind him in deep shock. Although we can't find the source. You say who should hide. Put your left hand behind. Prepare to transmit. You must quickly notify the people. I won't let you be satisfied. Put your hand up the space hole that pulls you in. Okay? It is good for you to breathe a little today. If you steal it, what's wrong with my plan? It's not cool. The police department hurriedly shouted, wait for me. Before disappearing into space, she smiled contemptuously, thinking bad. It's late. I warned you about the location. CA school looked at the campus, disappear into the vortex of space. Your eyes change color. I laughed and thought, it's not a waste of time in the end. How many words do I say? Kuang Yang and Kuang Yang, the power of the moon is not. Has prepared a great ceremony for you. You can't come. Over here, Kuang Yang also felt it. The tragedy of the electric oscillator. I can feel it. It's a bit weak, but it's the secret of the human race. The place of this mystery. It's right where we used to meet. To transmit information. I took the paper from Ra's shirt. Mouth raised a smile and my heart raised a thought. Let's use the information to investigate. And then use the magic to express the identity. He laughed out loud at NDTO. This world is very careful. But it's just in time. Came at the right time, millions on one side. I'm also quite curious about his actions. There's a big movement outside right now. People are getting to where it's happening. This is the fire in the sky. It's what happened at the end of the dance. One of them asked if that fairy. I heard he killed someone inside the temple. There may be no benefit. I don't blame God for that. The power of heaven is terrifying. Right now, at the site of the CA, there's thousands of lightning that hits the ground. Make the surrounding rock pop up. CA school is fighting in this place. I look up at them. And with that comes provocation. It's not enough to rely on this alone. Suddenly, there was a tall suit of armor holding a sword, close to the school CA, who rushed in to kill. But fortunately, you dodged his slash. He answered him with just one trick. People who fly here look at the giant armor. They are also amazed. There was a questioner asking, "What are those giant armor gods?" The power is too strong. Someone else answered the devil's words. One man can kill us. Not to mention so much. The other giant suits of armor stood up, with the sword in his hand. They keep repeating the words of the killer. Calm down, CA school. He made a small sword in his hand. No tiger is the last trick of the human race. That's interesting. You use your tricks. After a few basic cuts, the armored giant has been broken into pieces. There was a guy who knocked his sword to the ground, but luckily I jumped up and dodged. Killing me is not enough. The eyes of the school CA red. It shows your will to fight. You speed up your body, plunging through the soldiers in giant armor. Make them crumble. Everyone outside saw what happened. Also very interested without ceasing to praise. That's right. The power is too strong. At this speed, it will be done quickly. Until then, we also picked up some leftover rice and ate it. CA punch people in front. It's speeding up. Suddenly, a large sword came down from above. You can't escape in time. That sword is from the ancient god of restoration. To beat the school CA, because it's going fast. That something rushed to hit you. That you can't break. As a result, the school was knocked to the ground. Everyone around me looks at you worried. I didn't open my eyes. That's 7. Body of the late school CA beaten for cheating people. I can't stand. I try to regain my consciousness and realize this breath. Looking up in front of me is God. She points her sword in front of you, who voluntarily entered the heavens. I just died trying to find out. I can't believe it's an ancient god. Not good. In a small moment, you can know yourself. I am likely to die in my arms. The school turned to leave. Realize that if you keep going, it's not going to be okay. But not in time. Her great sword cut the body of the CA in two. In front of everyone. Trying to get the CA to bleed out of the mouth so fast. I can't believe I died here. Everyone around, I was amazed at her power. They're whispering to each other. What kind of a monster is that strong? Why the hell did they give the order? If you pay attention to her, you're dead. Pass the message out. I'm afraid the world is about to have a disaster. In the big building, the death of the school was announced. Come here. The girl in love couldn't believe the truth in front of her. It's impossible. The master can die. How can you die with such bad faith? She held out her hand to comfort the girl she loved. Don't listen to them lie. These are just words from one side of the priest. I love looking at the jewel in my hand. Tears slowly flowed out choking, said. But Grandma, so why did the great master leave me broken again? Why did it turn out like this? She gave her 2 hands. Half a pearl on each side. Silver flower grandma holds love in her arms. She was crying out loud, clearly the master said. He said he would definitely come back. Babe screaming loud, babes cheats. In my head is the old school CA smiling softly. Everyone around me was crying like that. Just stand still and say nothing. At this point, he is walking in front of the letter J. I laughed out loud. Stupid, too stupid. It's not just stupid, it's extravagant. If I were, I certainly wouldn't be alone. Go into such danger. He's too confident about himself. I think the world is a champion. D Market looks at the shadow of Kwang Duong's back. I don't believe the school is dead. I can't believe it. That high fairy. He died in the scheme of Kwang Yang. In the end, the position in the universe is only a trap. How scary. Kwang Yang raised his hand proudly and said, It's just a little high priest who fights me. He thought he was a ghost or something. But not killing him yourself is a good deal for him. A million people are staring at you thinking. The fate of Kwang Yang, it's not as simple as it looks. His tricks are even more terrifying than his VI. See if I guess wrong. Fortunately, I chose to work for him. Suddenly, there's a man in yellow armor hovering. Get the attention of two people. Who? A million people feel this breath. These people are all from heaven. One of the men in yellow said, The situation is not small. The owner behind you didn't ask her to meet me. A man came forward and announced, The owner waited at the lake for hours. I hope you come so far. Kwang Yang asked them, How dare these people make me go see her? The man in the golden armor, the man in the... This is important. Please lower the amount. Kwang Duong Huang for an hour. The rules of the electric ancestors have been repeated. When I get an answer from him. The man in the yellow armor turned in a different direction. Put your hands together to call the owner. Who has been brought? A girl playing the piano softly raised her voice. You are Kwang Yang. You with a steady face. A little bit of defense asked in detail. If you know my identity, then pay attention to my words. I don't know how big or small it is. We are the existence. You have to search for it. The girl who was playing stood up. He turned half his face and said softly, Well, this is a prince. Unconscious in this moment, Kwang Yang was beaten by her beauty. The rules of the human race aren't right. But in terms of selecting this person, also NDTO. Suddenly, the prince softened his voice. You can go to death. Kwang Yang and Million D. I was surprised by this statement. What? Just finished. Who have permission to fly in the air. The prince went to the two of them. Millions of people are surprised by this. But she recognized the holy standard. Even a saint, this is an ambush. It's done this time. Zhang Yang may have been irritated. He frowned straight at her and nearly raised his voice. You're not a man of electricity. I finally know my identity again. You go slowly. To the place of the two softly replied also left. Doesn't need many words. Today is the day of your death. She said she had practiced magic in her hands and walked away, to the place of Kwang Yang and Million D. You two get into a fight. Cause the rocks and the surrounding houses to crumble. The battle of two people. Kwang Yang turned around and suddenly he asked, Are you the man of that name? The prince told me again. You are dying to ask a lot of questions. I stepped back from the mantra, and quite confident in his abilities. Whether it's true or not, it will be time for you to pray. Don't know. Can you resist the power of the highest order? You train me, the power that forms a swirl in your hand. It's like training a bad uncle, and suddenly the power is lost. The prince has trained you and created the magic circle. You're not in a hurry yet. That the defense observes the opponent. And Kuang Yang, I'm a little surprised by my magic. After a while, I realized that your power is suddenly lost. Why is this? Sao cannot borrow the power of the divine. Maybe he betrayed me. Prince hail when you're careless. She immediately brought Tay to flaunt the prestige. But luckily for you, you're in time. But that's why it's a loophole. The prince slapped him in the face. Open blood mosquito. Your hand is so strong. The one he flew away from. Kuang Yang was slapped like that. Use your feet to break. The head is still stunned after the slap. I turned my face back to you. Slap in the face again. What the fuck do you like to slap in the face? The prince was outraged by that statement. She frowned uncomfortably and said again and again. Then she summoned Ra, a giant sword. Emperor Swordsman. Kuang Yang nearly spoke up. You think it's easy to kill. You're playing your trick. Immediately, there's a shield to stop you. 2 ways to touch each other. An explosion has been detonated. How many houses have been destroyed? Kuang Yang disappeared with that explosion. The prince looked around. I can't see your shadow. It's gone. Then she felt a little movement in her back. Turn your head back. You can see that millions of people have been killed. Beat Cho to the ground. Million D tried to shout for help. Kuang Yang save me. As soon as I heard her call for help, I quickly saved you. 2 men tried to arrest them and create a magic explosion. But I don't see millions anymore. What's left is $1 million shoe. The 2 men looked in the direction of Kuang Yang. What magic does he use up there? I can save people right under my eyes. Even not, Yang was also summoned and soared to the sky. He looked down, uncomfortably thinking, obnoxious. You have to use the power of reincarnation. Get out of here quickly. But the prince is not with your men. He refused to be silent and decided to chase it to the end. Kanjiang, this place has been sealed by us. If you grow wings, it's hard to fly. Yang lifted his face, exactly as you said. Everywhere around, it's been blocked by people in yellow armor. You're surrounded, but you're crazy. Want to hold me back? It's not enough to rely on these things. The more I try to fly higher, there's a ray of light chasing 2 people. Until the light hit them suddenly. It's just substitution. What we hit is a rock. The prince looked inexplicably at every drop of stone, again wondering what. This is ancient French. A subordinate said. This must be the trap he set up before. The prince doesn't give you any compliments. The tiger is not an ancestor. It's a very difficult trick to solve, of course. One of your subordinates told you. Newspaper, before that fairy before coming down to earth has fallen into the heavenly dance. Forces such as the legendary Crown of Heaven have received the news and is gathering centaurs to the Holy Land. She laughed and said, you can hide the first, not the last. 15, we go to the holy place of the prophet outside. Tell the world, disciple of Kuang Yang of the holy place. It is evil if the AI dares to denounce it according to the law. Old school CA. It's sitting there getting notifications from the system. Kwang Yang, the high priest defeated. Heart is not committed. Mental breakdown received 8,000 airlift points. 40,000 points of destiny. I was a little surprised so quickly I got it. Min's plan has worked. With the trap, she said. I'm afraid this Kwang Yang must have been stripped of a layer of Ra. You have a little hedgehog. You're good. Just reduce his energy twice. Maybe he'll do it. I turned down to talk to the old god. But it's hard to kill me. There are things that can kill this great saint. Yours, but unfortunately, this power is far from enough to deal with us. Wait for me to finish training. Probably an angel. There is no more room for God. Until then, that's the limit of our meeting. The school is very excited with Yang Kwang's next actions. It's worth looking forward to. What kind of face will you have, Kwang Yang? Two people in a temple. Kwang Yang angrily shouted, "Who did it?" Not expected. The soul of the fairy has been destroyed. The surrounding area is a bit of a wonder. This is a place to worship ancestors. Why is it falling apart like this? Outside, they are still 6 chisels looking for Zhang Yang. Found it, he is. The market is afraid of the Holy Father. They walked in. He looked at everything inside in a panic. The ban has been cancelled. The Lord of the Holy Land saw you inside. Near the voice asked, "Zoe, do you know what you are doing?" I stand with my back to everyone, stupid. I should tell you what I'm doing. Why do you keep the forbidden place? The Lord of the Holy Land was angry. The gas is burning all around. Fuck. There are rumors everywhere that you are an evil spirit. And the forces to deal with it. You've surrounded all the holy thugs. Do you want to continue pretending? Kwang Yang was wrongfully blamed on the head. It makes me turn around. To point them in the face for me. That woman hurt me. Do you believe it? Let you be the owner. People are spinning around without knowing it. Shan Kun, Holy Land. Sooner or later, it is destroyed in your hands. He heard you. He couldn't say another word. You have to stand up before God. Please listen to me. The ban has been lifted. This has nothing to do with the ocean. When we got here, this place was rocky. Don't let her finish. He's stopped her mouth enough. Don't be cunning anymore. The Grand Master, the Holy Land will treat you without silver. You help this poor man to do something so crazy. That makes me 7. He was so angry that he lost his mind. You two can't escape today. He thought to himself, that fairy died. I am still waiting for you. And one name after another. Not even fast. He caught the boy clinging to the world too. That trick of calculating again. Are millions still trying to negotiate? It's not like that. The Holy Father is Kwang Yang's side. I can't explain it anymore. They want it after success. We'll take care of your holy places. But who would have expected you to be so overrun? The devil also agreed to call the Holy Father, the Grand Master, and Kwang Yang. Now the breath is chaotic. The injured man must have fought the elves. The Lord of the Holy Land said, I see the Holy Land. We absolutely can't let him get involved. Destroyed with him. Come with me and catch him. Kwang Yang heard these words and suddenly laughed. Okay. Change your face today, I want to see it. Do you have that talent or not? In the place of the prince. You're talking to your subordinates. It seems that the Holy Prophet is a person who understands the doctrine. Distinguish the current situation. That's smart, but that's not enough. Duong has a lot of tricks. You are all old people here. Hold aside of the angel world. So far, it has been the air. If the Holy Master loses, you are welcome. She said sternly, get rid of the evil one. Suddenly, I'm trying to get a little tickled right now. I sneezed for an hour. The owner of the temple said, don't worry. The angel world appears to be in love with Kier. We will definitely eradicate it. God also agrees. We will not deny death. It's on the right side of the bridge. She's looking at the surrounding volcano in a panic. What happened here? That first ghost broke through. You can lower the world. Maybe there's a chance for him to break through. She looked around. And then in my head, I thought, maybe what happened to the ancestors? But you immediately deny it. It won't. I've passed the warning to the ancestors. Right now, there's a power light that's ultraviolet. Plunge to the ground. The system also announces, congratulations to the host, training the bar in line. A breakthrough to sacred unity. The power of purple, projecting through the body of the CA. I put my hands out to absorb this power. It's finally broken through. We have to practice this human condition. It takes a little work. But it's gone through so many reductions. Surely the heir of Kuang Yang, you can't stop the card. To take over my airship. Where are you? Draw a card. Look at it, mutter to me. How to drain your last breath. Suddenly I noticed from a distance. They're all running here. If you like it, then let's start the play. From a distance, there was movement coming. This is from the princess side. One of her subordinates announces the hi. In front of you is the dance. Inside unusual danger. I can't believe that Kuang Yang hesitated to rush in. That guy's a non-trivial trick. Believe you, the Holy Father and all the elders could do nothing. The prince didn't frown. There is also anger in my heart. It's true that we despised our ancestors. When you get to where everything is broken, I can't believe people can borrow it. Using the past practice of reincarnation to live in touch from the holy thunder here. It's in the forest now. She chased her lover into the forest. Sweetie, it's dangerous here. She decided to move on and said, your father must find the master. Love is sure that the master will not die. The little girl's small hand. Hold on tight to my necklace. Suddenly, Chang Yang and millions of D appeared here. They accidentally met each other. Kuang Yang saw that they still spoke. I said I don't see the shadow of love. In the holy land of heaven. Turns out your grandmother brought you here. Kuang Yang turned his face to love. To find my master, Sao. Love, you have to learn how to grieve. Your master is no more. Enjan Hoa grandmother suddenly called Mr. Zhao Yang. Love is also surprised CACA. I walked to her place. I heard he broke flesh on the spot. There are many dangerous animals here. They must have been eaten clean. So what do I have to suffer for? I dragged my grandmother and me into such a dangerous place. Love is a little tense. He stepped forward and put his hand in front of her. It's dangerous here. There's a crazy woman outside. You see people eat good meat. Listen to CACA. Get out of here. She immediately used her hands to take off.